improving the quality of life. And that's a real big part of the community liaison officer and part of the strategic response bureau, which I'll talk about also. Accomplished by cooperative interaction with our community. And that's my business. That's why it's bold and bold. Committed to reducing fear by maintaining order and peace. Again, for all the officers, protecting life and property. Some of the standards that you might have always heard about and continue to see. Organized staff and in bold, they're trained to maximize effectiveness. And we do outcome studies, and we continue to watch and engage our effectiveness through surveys, through interaction meetings, through whatever it takes to make sure we're doing what we need to be doing. And we work to fulfill the mission that inspires trust and confidence and protects the constitutional rights of each individual citizen. Now, I talked a little bit about the Strategic Response Bureau. It's a police department, sort of, within the police department. We are a resource to the officers on the street, the ones working, patrolling on foot on the beat, or the detective bureau, or officers, in schools, or whatever the case may be. But our mission is a little more specific, to produce innovative and proactive responses to street-level crime problems, based on crime statistics, trend ID, and the needs and concerns of the citizens. And we get that through our community liaison officers, the 19 or so officers that we have, one per precinct. It's separate but interrelated functions within SRB. We have your support, your administrative. We're going to talk about the community liaison today. We have our enforcement part, information component, investigation, and crime analysis. We work closely with all these, again, interrelated to see what we can do to the specific problems that we find out about. The community liaison officer communicates specifically with community groups and individuals regarding crime activity. It's odd that you've heard police officers from time to time, they come in, and perhaps you've heard stories where their boss say, "You're not writing enough tickets," or "We're not seeing enough productivity out of you." Well, we get pulled into our boss's office if we don't go to enough meetings, if we're not coming up with enough solutions to problems, if we're not coming up with enough packets. We do informational investigative packets, initiation reports actually. We initiate problem solving, whatever comes up in the community. But part of our mission within SRB is to assist patrol. When I say patrol, it's the officers patrolling the community via education and activities involving the district officers and their bosses in the precinct. So how do we get it done? Maintaining relationships is our number one thing within the division and the community, and that could be a struggle. Some people don't want to talk to us right off the bat because of who we are, and some people within the division don't want to talk to us because of who we are, so it creates sometimes a struggle. But we also maintain active contact in area schools, assembling such things as block watches, working to establish community associations through our neighborhood liaison program. Prepare and present just a number of programs to community and professional groups. And one thing we make it a point for the officers, for the community liaison officers, to be the point contact representative, the ambassador of the division, or whatever you want to call it, but that you're available by email, by direct telephone, by internet, in person. If you would call your patrol officer, if you would try to get a hold of your patrol officer that you may have had some dealings with, you would basically get the phone number you would call would be downtown. Downtown would have to route take down a message, and then the message would go through someone who gets the mail. Then that mail would be delivered to a substation, and you can see where it just takes a while. So we try to, take a lot of steps out and speak specifically to the person that's in charge of communication in the precinct as the community liaison officer. We also train recruits and officer on the mission of SRB and the mission of the job of the community liaison officer, the role. Participate in team groups and functions. That could be problem-solving groups. That could be team building projects involving not only police but community, other stakeholders that we work closely with. Assist in investigations and enforcement patrol duties. There's a reason why I don't get to hang out with people in blue jeans and a t-shirt. As representative of the division, they want us in marked cars. They want us in uniform every day. Getting my picture taken, I don't have my hat on, so I may hear about that. But it's, we have these, this idea of a community liaison officer is very specific. But we are to assist and supplement the officers on the street, because again, we are a resource for them. And we do other things such as prepare security surveys, go out to homes and businesses to do assessments and check out their vulnerabilities, or give them ideas on crime prevention to make their home or community a little safer. When we help out with the investigation, when we engage in problem solving, we have a model. There are several out there. We use the SARA model, the scanning, the analysis, response, and assessment. For us, we're police officers. You have to keep it really simple, and make it really easy for us. And this has been around for, at least in our organization, for about 10 years or so, maybe a little bit longer. But it works for us. And it's a way we document in case we need to go back and revisit the problem. For example, under scanning, when we use the problem-solving model, we have to look at data. We have to engage the community. We have to develop ideas that are not just traditional types of responses from the police. So one of the things we do is, as soon as I hear of an issue, I get all sorts of anecdotal information from the people in the community, but I also need to put things down on paper and put things in a packet and start documentation. So for example, when I pulled this out of our my monthly crime stat that I get from crime analysis. Say there's an incident that we identify, or crime analysts identify a problem with one of the 134 malicious destruction of property reports that were called in just for 1 month, just off the University District area. This is just east of OSU. We will take that information from crime analysis, look at the map, see where the trends are. Not only that, you can see clusters of property damage. Malicious destruction of property would be anything from spray paint or breaking a window or whatever. You would see clusters around, and that's fine. But what's that mean? That tells you where it's happening at. Doesn't necessarily tell you when. So we have to go through all the sheets of data and that we get and narrow it down, because we only have a limited number of resources. As a liaison officer, I can make a request for undercover officers to go into an area if it's an appropriate response to things that undercover officers are good at doing, catching bad guys. We may want a uniformed response. We may want more cruiser attention, depending upon what type of crime it is. So we look at this information, we read the narrative. More importantly, we look at the times and the day of the week, because with a limited number of people, we have to really use them wisely. Not only that, I have to argue my way sometimes in why I need these officers over my area, because there are 18 other police precincts that are arguing too. So if I have this information down as liaison officer, and the information that we receive from the community too, then that really helps my cause in addressing the problem. And that's, in the end, that's what we want. How do we measure success? Or do we take care of the problem? We find that out mainly by talking to you folks, working with you folks at the table, out there on the street. One thing we don't want to do necessarily is, Columbus is a big town. 15th largest in the United States, approaching 800,000 city proper. We don't necessarily want to, the information I gave to you was right in this area, North Central. I don't want to push it, over here to the other side, or I don't want to push it further north. We want to try to take care of the problem. Now, do you displace a lot of it? Probably. But you would hope that through arrest, through enforcement activities, that you do do take care of the issue that comes up, whatever the problem may be. The other programs that the CLO, the liaison officer, deals with: crime prevention, block watch, school safety issues,